This is the Joe Rogan of Twin Falls.
Yeah, Well, I do podcasting and then adventuring on the side. Who put that there?
Playground.
Did you put that there?
I don't know if no.
You're like,
I don't.
somebody.
I don't know. I don't know who did that.
Yeah.
Correctly. I believe you came in wanting to rent equipment.
Yeah.
And
the truth will come
yes,
out.
and it took a little bit of educating.
Trend.
You did. In the last few years, we've had scuba divers who call every summer now, starting a few years ago, who are asking, directions. How do we get to this? We saw them scuba diving Box Canyon, and then we're left explaining to them, like, you're gonna have to hike your equipment down an embankment, and hike for 2 miles to go. Like, yes, it is beautiful, but that guy worked all day.
Yeah, like
Part of their basement is that tunnel. It's not a tunnel as much as it was just connected basements that went across. And so you go down into the basement and there are cemented off doorways that head east and west respectively.
I know that there's tunnels that go underneath Twin Falls, and I've actually seen them. I'm the only one that has the footage of that.
Yeah.
I was on a tour, and they're like, and this is where we've got the Rock Creek tunnels. And I'm like, oh, I need to get a footage of this. And then I recorded it. And I'm like, this is it, people. There's a guy doing a whole documentary about it, or a book. Jim Gentry or something like that. He's like a historian or something like that. So he's doing like a whole book about it. I had a historian as well, Russ. He knows a little bit about him. If you go to the water canal company that was like dividing the land, they on their right by their door entrance, it says like 40 miles of tunnels underneath Twin Falls. And I found some of these tunnels, but I can't tell people where they're at because they might go to them. So
Right.
I just keep that under the down low itself.
Growing up around here, you always heard about those, and those are separate tunnels from what we're discussing on the main, right? But you always heard about those drainage tunnels that they created.
Tunnels. Yeah, they're real. One time I was at Craters of the Moon, and they have this giant tunnel there. It's like a lava tube. And I'm like, I'm here underneath Twin Falls. And everybody believed it.
Nice.
And I was like, this giant tunnel. And I'm like, I made up a name for it. I was like, this is the, who's the founder of this? What is that? Prine Cooley, Prine. I called it the Prine Tunnel or something like that. I don't know. It's just made up stuff.
Now we know where these local myths come from.
These local myths come from me, but I'm trying to stop them too.
One Arnell, you ought to look into that. Working on Main Street years ago, you would hear the stories about the old Pomerelle Portraits building. That I believe it's Walmart Tattoo, and upstairs on the 3rd floor there are these cemented.
You mean the one that burnt down?
No. It's on Shoshone and 2nd.
Okay.
Heading on, I don't know which one it would be, 2nd South, I guess. But the one that's heading east, right there on that corner. And on the top floor, there are these chutes. They were slides. And they were escape slides that they had up there. And apparently they would go down to ground level or below ground level when they were in operation. But that's something you need to look into.
I know there's something also Russ told me about, at the courthouse tunnel.
Yes. Well, one of those
used
tunnels.
To transport people across from one section to another section to where the courthouse was or something like that.
Yes, so there were 3 tunnels that went from that building to the courthouse to somewhere around the library, and then one that came up Main Street.
I need to get a machine. Looked into it. I'm going to get a machine and start
there you go, start scanning it.
Scanning the ground. We found the tunnels.
No, you're on something. A paranormal below ground Twin Falls tour coming to you soon.
I almost was like, I need to do like a documentary about the tunnels. People are fascinated by these tunnels. So I was like, maybe I'll try to do like a tunnels documentary.
Well, and I guess you can. I've heard that there's a spelunking group, a meetup group that does have access to that. I've heard that somewhere along the line. Don't quote me on that.
Don't quote me on that.
Yeah,
We
no
don't
quotes on that one.
Yeah.
But I believe there's a group that has an access key, and you can get with that group and go into to a
Yeah,
couple
all of these are
different tunnels.
typically blocked off or very dangerous spots. But yeah,
So
okay.
not recommended.
Not
then.
recommended.
Yeah.
I always tell people like, just watch me for entertainment value. I usually calculate things very like precise, like, okay, I'll do as much work as I can, but there's always a level of risk itself, you know?
Right.
But usually sometimes before I even do something super dangerous, I'll do like a week or a month worth of research before I even do anything, So it's not like I just do it out of the blue,
Sure.
And I know usually where my risk factors are and so forth.
Yeah, so not recommended.
Not
for
recommended.
your day trippers.
Yeah.
And on the onset of this, let's just say anything I have to say, you may want to Google it at some point, just to check me.
But don't always trust
fact
Google.
check.
Yeah, sometimes people that are just driving off cliffs like take a right, okay, and then shoo.
No, we had a few years ago. Google was sending customers to the north side, the Jerome side of the canyon.
Oh.
So we were getting calls from people that were ending up down at the golf course on I don't know how, and they're looking at us across the river.
Hey,
saying,
I'm over here.
We're here.
I need a kayak.
Google says we're here. And,
Yeah.
and so thankfully we got that issue.
One
figured out.
time I knew Google was taking me the wrong way, and then I got into somebody's property and I was like, well, Google told me to go here. I tried to pull that one off, and then the guy was so mad at me. It's like, well, don't trust Google. I blamed it on Google.
Yeah.
Google told me it was fine to come here.
I can ignore that shoot first, ask questions later sign
Yeah.
if Google told me to be here.
Google told me to do this.
Nice.
Yeah, that is how Idaho is. It's like shoot first, ask questions later.
Yes.
But not all the time. A lot of farmers are very nice. They're like, "What are you doing here?"
They are that. Yeah, you'll find that. Just asking permission is usually enough.
Yeah.
But Idaho is very proud of its private property.
Oh yeah. And
Rules.
people, when we like the
Yeah.
guns.
Yes, of course.
The
yeah.
guns keep.
Yeah.
Nobody's taking our guns away.
No way. Not in Idaho.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I was yesterday recording some stuff, and then somebody wanted me to get some shots of them in like a truck and so forth, and then they had a gun in there as well too. I was like, this is definitely Idaho.
Yeah.
You know?
Where are you from originally, Arno?
So I was originally born in Bosnia.
Okay.
So there was a war there. There's a whole backstory. I think I made a video about it. Coming to America itself.
All right.
But I was originally from Bosnia itself, and then they were taking our guns away over there. And then you got to keep your guns. So
Yeah, interesting.
yeah. Okay, let's jump into what you came to talk about here. AWOL.
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 A way of life.
A way of life. How did this company start? Did you start it? Give me some little back context, I guess. Like, where did you, what's your background, Paul, actually? Like, did you always live here?
Ooh, yeah. Well, I was, and I typically don't say this, especially in a public forum.
Everybody from California is like, I'm not from California. I don't know what you're talking about.
You took the words right out of my mouth. So I was born and raised partially in Southern California.
Oh,
yep.
People are going to be like,
yeah. So
I had no idea.
they're going to make me have California plates on my car from here on out. But my folks moved me up here in 1989. And, so I consider myself local, but there are those that would argue that point.
Oh, yeah, you were born.
I'm still a Californian. But no, I am Idaho to T&T.
So what did you do then? Like, what were your kind of some of the jobs you were doing back in the day, like when you were like young and stuff like that? What was your first job? Do you remember that?
Sure. Yeah, we're going that far.
Yeah,
back.
we're going all the way. We're
all
figuring.
the way back.
We're figuring everything about Paul.
Sure, man. Yeah, my first job was at a car wash at Chevron on Pole Line.
Oh, really?
Yep. And for some reason, that car wash was open year round. So we were there.
Even in winter, they were running cars.
Yeah, running the car wash. We were out there, and I worked there for a couple of years through high school. After high school. Really got into photography, and I was fortunate enough to get on with a local photographer here in town, and followed him around doing portrait and family photos. So,
Oh, I
yeah,
had
that
no
was,
idea you were doing photos.
yeah, it
Who
was
would have
it
thought?
was not me. I fell into it, and it was really fun. I really enjoyed myself doing it, and it taught me a lot of that I take today with just not that I actively take photos and whatnot, but
Yeah.
just seeing composition, right?
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
and
that's good. That's good photo.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, an appreciation for good photos. So that
Yeah.
I definitely got that out of it. But living here, what started down this path with first the scuba diving. I was dating a young lady that I swear I did not know at the time had well-off parents,
Okay.
and so I was dating her, and that was just the added bonus, I suppose. And
Oh, okay.
and
So
they called me.
they were like, "You want to go scuba diving with us?"
Yeah, that's basically it. They told me to meet him downtown on Main at the scuba diving shop. And, growing up here, I didn't even know there was a scuba diving
Neither
shop.
did I.
In
Yeah.
Twin, right? I was like, where's that? So
Was it Dive Magic?
it was Dive Magic, yeah,
Oh,
right up
yeah,
the
right
road.
on downtown. Dive Magic.
Yep.
I always passed by there, remember? And it was like, I was like, we have nowhere near scuba diving here. It was my thinking,
Right.
No,
me too.
and I remember like, well, this is probably you book something to go somewhere. That's what I was always thinking. What Dive Magic was.
Sure, and that's still what it is, and we do have local diving. It's you're a scuba diver. We have
Yeah.
some local diving. It isn't the greatest, and if we find good visibility, it's going to be colder water. But we like to tell students, if you can scuba dive in Idaho, you can dive anywhere. This is a great place to train and to become a good scuba diver. But we have some new fun places.
So going back to the story, how
Yeah.
so you met her, so you did scuba diving, right,
Yeah,
with
yeah.
her. Did you get certified with Dive Magic then?
I did, yeah. So they called me up one day, and I met them down at the diving shop, and they said, our whole family's going on vacation to Mexico. You're going with us, and everyone here's a scuba diver. So they signed me up for the classes, and I became a scuba diver. So yeah,
you're like.
yeah.
So where did they do the training at? Was it at the pool or was it at Panbury?
Yep, it was the Gooding Pool, and then we finished our certification on that trip down in Mexico. So
okay.
I was really lucky.
So you were diving in Mexico, getting your final.
Getting my
Nice.
certification. That's how lucky I was. Shortly after that, broke up with that girl. Decided to pursue scuba diving. I really enjoyed it, and then spent the next 4 or 5 years teaching scuba diving and working in various places. When I came back to Twin Falls in 2010, met back up with that girl and asked her to marry me. So, and now,
okay.
yep, now she and I own AWOL Adventure Sports. But our original plan, the intention was always to open up a dive shop here in Twin.
Yeah.
I moved back in 2010, and that was the same year that Dive Magic decided to close up shop.
Yeah,
and
I think they eventually moved over to Boise.
well, they had always had a shop, or for years have had a shop up in Boise,
Oh.
and they had an opportunity to purchase a second place that had a pool. So they jumped at that opportunity and left good old Twin Falls for scuba. Yeah, so that was our intention. Always was to open up a dive shop, and 8 years ago, and there was an opportunity that opened up with doing kayaking.
Yeah.
And and just to do rentals, have a trailer in the park, and we really had to, flip a coin on it. It was a 50-50 on if we were going to pursue a dive shop or do try to go for the kayak rentals.
Kayak rentals, yeah.
Yeah,
And the kayak rental you're talking about at Centennial
down
itself.
Centennial Park, yeah,
Gotcha.
it opened up for bidding to have that contract down there, and thankfully it worked out the way it was supposed to. I was adamant I really wanted to have a scuba diving shop, and it was finances basically that decided that we were going to do the kayaking.
It takes a while. You gotta get a building. You gotta
Exactly.
employees. You gotta get all the stuff in the building, products, and then just a lot of logistical issues and money itself to go ahead and make it happen.
Exactly. Just getting the funds to do something like that. We talk about scuba diving in Idaho. Well, think what the bank says when you say, "Hey, I'd like to open up a dive shop."
Yeah,
in
that
Idaho.
would have been a very interesting conversation to kind of listen into. It's like, yeah, I'm here in Twin Falls, and we would like to open up a scuba diving shop. Like the guy's like, what?
So it went the way you would expect, and it was a lot easier to get. Much less funding needed to start out with a trailer and kayaks to do rentals. And we were very fortunate. We were really lucky that it went that way because, a scuba diving shop, although that's my favorite part of what we do, I absolutely love the diving. It's not, standalone. It is. It really wouldn't be able to last very, very well. It would be difficult just because scuba diving, there is a lot of expense involved, a lot of very expensive equipment and upkeep and whatnot. So a standalone dive shop would be difficult. With the kayaking, that took off, and you've seen it down there. People have really come to enjoy and just absolutely love and cherish our canyon down there.
Oh yeah, it's like it's the thing to do. Sarah and I always promote it as well. It's like, okay, so one thing you want to do here is go down to Centennial and rent some kayaks.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit more about that, I guess. Like, you guys have a kind of like a trailer down there, and people can. How does all of that work? So I guess somebody that's like new, maybe somebody's driving and listening to this. What do they do typically? Do they just show up, or do they just book online? What's the process? What's the best way to kind of do?
Yeah, well, the best way to do it is always reservations, especially if you're coming on a weekend. However, I would say it's a 50-50. We have plenty of walk-ups. You have the type of traveler that has no idea what they're doing, and they pull off on the road and they find it and go. And then you have the other kind of traveler who, we have bookings for the boat tour in September. So you have people that are planning 5-6 months out.
Yeah.
So it's a balance of both, and it works really well. Over the last couple of years with it, with the name recognition, people have been searching specifically for AWOL, right, for kayaking down there. So it's kind of become synonymous with
it's like, if you want a kayak rental, you got to look up AWOL. So many people always say like, it's also like just referrals too. So other people that do the activity or so forth, they'll just say, well, I went here, the company's AWOL and so forth, and it just builds off of that as well. So you definitely have built name recognition, as I feel like. And how long have you guys been doing? How long has AWOL been in operation, I guess?
Sure. So today is the start of our 7th season down there with the kayaking. We are now 5 years in on the zip line down there, and this is our 2nd season doing the guided boat tour. So a few years we finally got our state outfitter's license, which allowed us to do guided boat tours and then guided kayak tours up to Shoshone Falls. So
nice.
So we're in our 2nd year for that.
So really, to kind of summarize all of the services, is like, one, you've got people can just go and rent a kayak. Just either you book it online or you just show up down there. Preferably book it online, so that way you guarantee that you have your kayak and so forth. How many kayaks do you guys typically have down there?
Combined, we have 60 kayaks and paddle boards for rent, and we offer them on a 2, 4, and 6 hour rental. So if people are coming down, if they're first timers or if they have little kids, we generally recommend the 2 hour rental. Our most popular one would be the 4 hour rental to go to Pillar Falls.
Yeah.
Right. Pillar Falls, to me personally, is really our hidden gem on that stretch of the river. Shoshone Falls is beautiful, especially when the river is higher. But the unique formations that you get down there at Pillars, with the pillars themselves, and then the pools, and it's a place that you can spend hours just exploring around.
Yeah, I always go. It's if you're going to be kayaking the way I always think about it is like, if you're going to be kayaking, there's two things that usually happen. Three things, actually. You're either going from Centennial to the bridge and then back. What do people usually rent, like a 2 hour for that?
Yeah, 2 hour rental. You can easily.
You could just take your
back.
time.
Yeah.
And even just seeing that is really nice, you know?
Yeah, and you could get all the way to Pillar, and people do it all the time in 2 hours. You know, but Pillar Falls are just over 2 miles upriver. So when people do it in 2 hours, they usually come back, you know, looking like they've been conditioning for a kayathon than enjoying, you know, a stroll down the river.
Yeah.
But you can easily get up there in a half hour, 45 minutes.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And they usually kind of chill around there, kind of take some photos and things like that.
Yeah, we recommend people take snacks, you know, take lunch up there with them.
Bring water.
Absolutely,
bring water for sure.
Yeah.
And then you guys also have like some signage saying like, okay, the wind is pretty good, you know, not too windy, because wind can definitely affect how people's experience on that is. Because if it's so windy and you're battling it, you're like going to be tired or so forth.
Yeah. We don't joke around with safety down there. You know, safety is always the number one concern for everything we do. So all of our guides, everyone that works there, they all have lightning tracker apps on their phones and wind advisory apps on their phones. And so if the wind, you know, for instance, if the wind is over 15 miles out of the west, we shut down paddle boards. If it's over 20 miles out of the west, we shut down everything. But on the flip side, if it's 10 mile an hour wind out of the east, we have to shut down the zip line. Right, so we're constantly watching.
Looking at the weather.
Yeah, constantly. The wind can be a big thing, and it can be a safety concern, especially for those that don't know, right? Generally, if someone's going to have an issue out on the river, it's not going to be one of our customers, because if it's that windy, we've shut down operations, right? So we do keep a sign that's updated every morning right at the top of the dock that shows what the wind forecast is and what the river level is. And that sign is arguably even more important on the days that we aren't open, right? We'll still have someone go down there, fill out the sign, and put it right there next to the dock, because lots of people come through traveling or locals alike that just aren't aware how difficult it can be paddling if that wind is coming up that canyon.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And
it's just like you're paddling in the same exact spot.
Right.
And they're like,
Right.
I've been paddling for 10 minutes. I barely made it 20 feet.
Right. And you stop for a breather and you're going backwards. And you know, so and it happens every season. We'll end up towing people back or helping them back up out of the
somebody
the
gets too tired or fatigued.
Someone gets too tired. Yeah, it's generally a paddle board, and that's why we have to shut those down early. You know, a paddle board going into the wind, it's like a sail.
Yeah,
you know, and they just start paddling.
Yeah, you become the sail.
They are the sail. Yeah, they are.
And
the
then
sail.
they just shoot them back itself.
Yeah.
So people will go typically there, but do people also sometimes just rent a kayak and they try to make it all the way to Shoshone Falls itself? I mean, like
they do. They do it every day. They can do it in a 4-hour rental. Again, it's it's almost racing up there. But
it's like go. You'd be so. I did it once, and oh my god, let me tell you, it was brutal.
Well, it's just over 8 miles, and when you get halfway up there, or just over 8 miles round trip, I should say, but halfway up when you get to Pillar Falls, depending on the river level, you're going to have to pick up and carry and portage.
Right there. When I did that, all my energy was zapped.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my god, now I got to do. How much? It's another like 2 miles or something, or a mile and a half. Or
yeah. So after your 200-yard portage, you've got just under 2 miles. So it's right about the middle point, and you have just under 2 miles up to the base of the falls. For people going up there, we always recommend the 6-hour rental, and to do it in the early part of the day, right when we first open up at 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock is when you guys open up.
Yeah, because as you were saying, your energy gets zapped in that portage of carrying your kayak.
It's so heavy.
And then
the kayaks are heavy. But a better way of doing it is the guided tour.
Yes.
Tell me how that works, basically.
Yeah. We just started it last year along with the guided boat tours, and it's proven really successful, and the customers are enjoying it immensely. So, what we're doing is in the morning, the kayak guides will load up 10 kayaks onto the pontoon boat,
Yeah.
and haul them up to Pillar Falls.
Okay.
And the boat captain drops them and the kayaks off, and they have 90 minutes to portage all 10 kayaks, 200 yards apiece.
They're probably all jacked.
By the end of the season,
at the end of the season, they're like lifting kayaks one hand.
Yes,
You know?
we guarantee our employees that they will be tan and fit by the end of the season.
Yeah, there you go. So if you if you want
free workouts,
free workouts,
so
it's like a morning workout. Yeah.
Yeah. So in the morning, 2 guides will go up there and they'll haul all the kayaks to the backside of Pillar. And in the meantime, the boat goes back, collects the guests with their paddles and life jackets, and then they get a quick little boat ride up to Pillar Falls.
Yeah, and probably some history. You guys do some kind of history talking about it, or
a little bit. Yeah. Well, the history part that's generally for that 90-minute boat tour.
Oh, that 90-minute boat tour.
Yeah, and that's where we really delve into the history of the canyon and the bridge and whatnot. With the kayak tour to Shoshone Falls, if there's base jumpers out there, they'll definitely stop. And if you have any questions on anything, they're happy to answer anything. They are the tour guides. But generally, when we're doing that tour up to Shoshone Falls, we're just kind of bombing them up there. It's 10, 15-minute ride. Yeah.
My gosh. First of all, just getting the kayaks on the other side and not needing to go ahead and kayak to Pillar Falls itself saves you. I can't even describe how much energy itself to just do that. You're half of your energy is right there.
Over
itself.
half,
so you're,
right?
Well, more
just
than
in
half,
that portage is kills you.
So then you drop them off, and then they are met with the guides?
Yeah, so the guides are up there. They meet them. They'll walk them around Pillars, and that's where you'll get the history of the canyon and how the formation of the canyon and the pillars themselves. And the boats are all staged on the backside of Pillar, so the customers walk with their paddles to the back, and then it's an easy.
It sounds like a pleasant. That sounds like a pleasant kayak to Shoshone Falls versus. If you want to just, to punish yourself, then you do it the hard way. If you want the easy, convenient one, boom. That's what Sarah and I have been always saying, like, this is the way you do it. This is easy peasy.
And it's also a lot safer way to do it as well. Both of our guides that will be with you from beginning to end, they're certified with the state. They're CPR and first aid certified as well. They have they have the tools necessary if there were to be an issue, because once you're above Pillar Falls, there's no boat access up there, right? So the way in is the way that you have to come to get back out in an
and
emergency.
it's also sometimes dangerous walking around Pillar Falls itself. You got to know which way to kind of walk around. I don't know, like if somebody's brand new, they might be going the wrong way, and it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's a safer way. The guides probably know the easiest, safest route to the boats because they're hauling them in and out.
Yeah, absolutely. And so it takes what would be, generally a 5 or 6 hour trip to kayak from Centennial to Shoshone and back, cuts it down to about 2.5 hours.
That I can do.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, sure, let's do that.
Yeah, and it gives you plenty of time up there. And after the tour, you're walked back down, and then the boat takes you back to Centennial, and the guides in the evening time, we take some guys up there and usually takes more to bring them back. Everyone's tired by the end of the day, so we'll have 4 guys up there hauling kayaks back in the evening
because they're tired or they're
kayak
back and forth.
Everyone's burning. Everyone's
you
burning
definitely
at both
would get
ends.
a tan for sure going. How do people book that? It's on the website.
Yep.
Does that usually get sold out like boom, like that?
It does much more than the zipline tour. With the zipline tour, we can accommodate up to 14 zipliners on 5 tours a day. With the guided kayak tour, it's a max 8 people, and there's only 3 tours that we do daily. Not daily, but the days that we do the tours, there's only 3 tours offered. So there's a lot less space available, and they have a tendency to book up pretty quick.
Yeah. So if you're listening to this and you're like, okay, it's on the website, right? So they just go to the website, book it online there.
They can call us. They can call our reservation desk, and we can answer any questions they have about
they'll
what
get
time
Matt
of year
or something
they're
like
coming.
that usually.
Matt is the man, so
Matt.
they'll get Matt or one
Shout
of
out
those
to
guys.
Matt.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, Matt is the man. So.
Sweet. So yeah, so that's just a great way of getting to Shoshone Falls. But you also offer another services like you will just boat people to Pillar Falls too, right?
Yeah, and that's something that we're toying with this year. We had a lot of people that were interested. They didn't want to go kayaking necessarily. They didn't want to do a tour.
Yeah.
They would just like to spend the day up at Pillar Falls fishing or picnicking, whatever.
Yeah.
We have a family that we are taking up there sometime next week for family portraits. They have a photographer coming out, and we're just going to shuttle them up there. So we have an inexpensive shuttle service that will be happening. We're going to try it out on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesdays, and there'll be an early morning, a midday, and then an evening pickup. In 4-hour increments.
Okay.
And
you guys also pick up base jumpers too.
We do. Yep, base jumpers all day long.
Yeah, base jumpers jump, and they're like, how does that work for base jumpers?
For the base jumpers, it's really easy. It's $5 a ride. They can buy.
How do they know when you're gonna be there? I guess is there like a set schedule so that way do all of them just go pop 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 jump 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 and then pack up their chutes, jump on your boat? Like how do they know?
Yeah, so there's 4 prominent schools here in town, base jumping schools, and we work closely with those for their class schedules. And generally, when they're doing
Sean
that,
Schumann, when he does,
Sean Schumann is one of them.
He does all of because he brings a whole bunch of them to jump off at the same exact time.
Exactly.
And then you basically pick them up so that way they're not doing the whole portage back itself.
Yeah, and so with those guys, we'll have set times. We know when their schools are going. We know how many students, and we'll accommodate them that way. Starting this weekend, if the weather is nice, we will be doing an hourly pickup for the base jumpers. It'll be a separate boat, a smaller boat that's just dedicated for the fishermen and for base jumpers.
Yeah, put a sign over there where they're putting their stuff on, and it's like boat schedule is happening because they have like a bus schedule. You should totally get like one of those it's like a little like plastic thing with a sign, and then you just put a
that's not a bad idea
boat schedule.
Yeah. Well, we made it really easy for them. It's going to be every hour on the hour from 8 to 8, with the exception of noon. We're going to give the captain a break, and so there will be an hourly pickup. However, like today they're doing the 22 jumps. It is a benefit for suicide prevention, and so we're just donating the boat for this event. And there's going to be dozens upon dozens of base jumpers that are just going nonstop. So
when's that happening?
It's supposed to be sometime this weekend, but with the weather looking as bad as it is, I believe they're going to be doing it today.
They are indeed dependent on the weather or the wind. Have you jumped, Paul?
No.
I
haven't.
You gotta.
I have kids.
Have
you?
I've jumped.
No, I shouldn't have asked. Of course you have.
Of course
I've
you
jumped. Have. I've probably seen the video.
I feel like you gotta jump.
Yeah. Was it with Sean?
No, it was with the other guy, David. So
David.
There's two.
Okay,
I was testing. Okay, I'm probably gonna maybe jump with Sean, and then because there's 2 guys basically offering the service itself. So I jumped with the other guy and went fine. It was.
Yeah. Obviously.
I'm still here.
You're here.
I'm still here. The scary part is just getting over the railing, getting on the board, and then he's just like where he said go, and you just jump off. I think you should do it.
I can imagine that was the scary part. No,
I think you should.
I am just fine facilitating happiness. How's that?
I think it's perfectly fine. You should totally do it. Everybody has to call you out for this too now. You got to jump.
To do the base jump.
It's they'll just hook you up and you'll just jump and then bada bing, bada boom.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Easy peasy.
Yeah. Maybe.
I do. We got a baby.
I do have some employees that are planning on doing it soon, so we're gonna have a little party underneath the bridge for them.
You gotta set an example. You're like, okay, listen up. I'm jumping off the bridge, and then every one of you guys have to do it as well. So then you can call them out.
I don't know if that's the example that
No,
I
I don't know.
set, man.
That's a very, it's like
I'll set the example of keeping both my feet on the ground.
keep both feet on the ground itself. Safe. You like safe. Well, you're a very safe-oriented person itself. Everything has to be like super safe itself, So it's probably
calculated risks.
Calculated
I guess,
risk. You just got to do it on a random Tuesday or a Wednesday. That way, nothing can ever possibly go wrong.
Right. I like that. No audience.
Yeah, no audience, nothing. I just need to get to the bottom really quick.
Yeah, no, there is, and what we do, there's inherent risks to every aspect of our business. There's going to be inherent risks, but we do try to, negate those as much as we can. And I think one of those would be the boss not base jumping.
well, your wife can take over in case something happens, so everybody would be fine.
Well, Well, she already runs the place.
She already runs the place. Yeah,
she'd have to start taking the trash out at night. I think that's what I do. So.
Consider it.
Will,
so that way you can, send customers to do that as well too. Now that you've done that, here you go.
Yeah, we send customers to those guys all the time. Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. And
they probably send customers all the time to you too, because they're like, you got to go do kayaking or zip lining or Shoshone, because a lot of people they see Shoshone Falls and they want to be at the bottom. They love the bottom itself. It's the way, because I've been there a few times, but once kayaking, once walking the shoreline. Let me tell you, brutal. All of these are brutal.
From Pillar?
Yeah, shoreline becomes so drained, and I just walk it, but it gets really, really bad because the rocks are very loose and so forth. You can easily sprain your ankle. Like I caught myself 2-3 times. Like, whoa, that could have been bad itself.
Sure.
And then sometimes I'll walk up through the pillar exit or so forth.
Right. Sure.
So it's you got to have some crazy stamina to go ahead and do it by the time you get over there. There's also mud that gets you stuck in there too. So I almost lost a shoe.
And for those listening, we don't recommend walking.
Not do what I do.
Highly not recommend doing that walk. There's a lot of rocks, a lot of boulders, and a lot of stuff
boulder hopping and so forth. So freaking brutal itself.
Kayaking is best.
This is why I got you on, because I wanted to tell people about your easy peasy way, because it's so easy to just go ahead and kind of do it that way. What else do you guys offer service-wise? So you guys got the shop, so people can go ahead and buy scuba gear stuff.
Yeah. So on that side of it, the last thing we do down the canyon is the zipline course.
Oh yeah, the zipline.
And the zipline course is really fun. This coming weekend we have the Girl Scouts Jubilee coming down, and so Saturday we're gonna have 100 and some odd Girl Scouts ponytails flying through the course.
Yeah, they're gonna love it. I was gonna be there, but I'm gonna be in northern Idaho doing some other crazy adventures. Yeah. I think I'm going into a mine or something like that, and some kind of bike ride Hiawatha or something like that.
Aren't you doing a zip line up there as well?
And a zip line as well. I got a whole couple of days planned out. It's just going to be like a adventure. I don't have too much stuff in northern Idaho.
Your job, man.
I know. Yeah. This is my daily job, just to go adventuring.
Yeah, this is the Joe Rogan of Twin Falls.
Yeah, Joe Rogan. Well, I do podcasting and then adventuring on the side.
Nice.
So the zip lining is fun. We did it last year itself. The whole team came out and we had a great time. We recorded that. That was my first zip line. I've never done any zip lining.
Yeah, and it's a unique course in that most zip line courses are going to be what they call canopy courses, right? Where you're going in trees or tree to tree or stand to stand. Our course is a platform to ground, right? So every line you go on, you're climbing up into the tower and then zipping down to ground level. And of the 4 lines, I would have to say line 4 is my favorite. The fourth and final.
The last one. Oh yeah, that one is good. Yeah, it's so long and it's fast.
Almost 1,800 feet long, and without wind, it should take you 40, 50 seconds approximately to
those Girl Scouts, you said, or
yeah.
They're gonna friggin' love this because it's so fun. You know.
Yeah.
And it's just so great that we even have that service. I think what everybody wants, Paul, though, is a zip line from top of the canyon all the way across.
Yeah. You and me both.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we want it.
Yes, we do.
We want that. That would be amazing. People would love that itself.
Let me find a couple of landowners.
Yeah,
on
we
both
need some
sides to work with.
Landowners
Yes.
that are on the canyon,
willing to let us put
willing
a tower.
to put a tower right there.
Yeah.
That's easier said than actually done itself. Somebody might be listening and like, I got some land. You can put a tower
Got some
here.
land. Then we need to talk.
And yeah, we need to talk, and then we need the land on the other end as well too, where the other tower is
Right.
at.
Right.
That would be a giant zip line.
Yeah. Not if, but when we get a rim to rim line, that'll be a game changer. It really will. That's the kind of thing that, you have the Discovery Channel, the Travel Channel comes
People
to
would
town.
come all over.
Yeah.
This would be like a giant tourist attraction on just that,
Yes.
zipping down the canyon itself.
Right.
What a rush. I can already imagine it. I'm already envisioning how it would go.
Good. Keep that vision going.
Yeah,
I
keep it
can
going.
Use all the help I can
Hey,
get.
sir, do you have some land we can put this tower on here
Yep.
to zip down into the canyon?
Some land, a parking lot, and a tower. That's about all we need.
That's all you really need. Mind boggled. That would be so cool itself. I think there's obviously room to improve on all kinds of fun activities for, because like Twin is almost kind of like thrill seeking for some people, especially because of the jump, like the jumping off the bridge itself. It's the only legal place you can go ahead and do it from.
Right.
Open year round, and we get base jumpers all year round coming in and so forth.
Right.
So the giant zip line. Oh hell yeah, I want to be there.
No, I agree with you. It's again, growing up as a kid, you always thought, I can't wait to leave Twin Falls. It's boring small town kind of thing. That was the mentality. But with the base jumpers coming, they really have put us on the map, globally for what they can do here. And it is becoming an outdoor destination place. The fact that you could be kayaking 500 feet down in a canyon in city limits, and we could be scuba diving in Durkee's Lake, or jumping off the bridge, that sort of thing.
Jumping off the bridge,
incredible.
scuba diving, Blue Heart, Bunks Canyon, all this other stuff.
Just Rock Creek Canyon. When was the last time you went down to Rock Creek Canyon? That's just incredible. The trails that go through there.
I go there all the time.
Yeah,
I take my dog,
incredible.
get her some exercise over there. Even Ritter Island and stuff like that.
Yeah.
My videos that I do look like I'm in like some tropical place.
Right.
They're like, is this guy near the ocean or something like that? No, it's Ritter Island and Box Canyon is where I'm at.
If you were to pan out, they would see hayfields.
Yeah, there's a cow. I
sprinklers
zoom out and there's a cow. What is a cow doing there?
Right.
Yeah, but it definitely make everything look so magical and super cool itself. So basically, again, going back to zip line, right? So that's a thing that people book online at the website as well too, right?
Yeah, website, or they can always call.
How many people can book it together as a group or
Sure.
so forth?
To keep the tour under 2 hours, we like to put a max of 14 people on the tour, and a minimum of 2 to run it. And they sign in the park, the same place they sign in for kayak rentals and boat tours.
Yeah.
And from there, we take them across a little bridge and load them up onto an old Army Humvee, like troop transport Humvee, and haul them up to the first of the 4 lines. And but for big groups, special occasions, stuff like that, with the Girl Scout Jubilee, we'll send them up there in sets of 2, and we'll have 12 guides throughout the course, and they'll just be going on every single line all day long.
Oh, it was zipping away.
Yeah, I can't wait. It's one of my favorite weekends. We've done this with the Girl Scouts for a few years now, and we are left with boxes of Girl Scout cookies.
Oh yeah, you should bring some over here.
Yes.
you know.
Maybe.
You're like, I'll consider it if I don't eat them.
There will be no Samoas, I can tell you that.
No.
Sorry, those will be gone.
Kylie and I do these food review videos where we just like people bring some stuff and we'll buy it and then we test them out.
Okay.
So we do like a food review and we just see how the things taste like and we tell people, oh, these are good, you know, and come upstairs and buy them.
I like that. Okay.
It's a great idea.
Yeah.
So you can have, this sounds like a great thing for like groups of families, like family reunions or something like that. You guys get a lot of people like that?
We do. Yeah. We accommodate a lot of family reunions, a lot of class reunions. Having the boat, the scenic tour boat really changed what we can offer down there, right? Up until last year, it was kayaking or ziplining.
Yeah.
But now with the boat, we saw a lot of people that would have, large families, reunions, class reunions and whatnot. And you'd have grandma and grandpa and some of the older aunts and uncles, maybe some of the little babies. They'd all be piled onto the pontoon boat.
You just
all the
meet
kids
them
and
up there.
grandkids, exactly. They leave an hour earlier on the kayaks and paddle boards, and then everyone meets up at Pillar Falls. And
that's a great idea. So that way the whole family, grandma and grandpa, can show up at Pillar Falls because they just got boated to over there itself. They get to experience it as well too.
And it never ceases to amaze me. I should be used to it by now with the thousands of times I've heard it, but it never ceases to amaze me that how many people have lived there here in Twin their entire lives and have never been to Pillar Falls, or let alone Pillar Falls, never been out on the river. There. They've driven over that bridge for 40, 50 years and have never been on the river. So it happens every tour, You're
like, it's right there.
It's right
there.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because like when they actually are on the river, they're like, wow, this is so nice. And then they I always hear like people like, I should do this more often.
Yeah, you do hear that. And from the locals, it's typically, I've wanted to do this for years, but it took family from out of town visiting for me to finally do it.
Yeah.
But that's what I like to hear the most. It's great having tourists. It's really fun meeting people from around the world. But my favorite part is being able to tailor to locals. How many people, $20 to rent a kayak.
Yeah,
right?
you don't have to. Yeah, if you don't have storage for them, then you can. If you're like renting or something like that, where are you going to put this kayak at?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
and, we'll have the mom who pulls up in the minivan and signs all the forms, kicks the kids out, and they'll go kayaking. For a while. So
nice.
Yeah.
All right, and then let's shift over to scuba diving a little bit.
Yes, that's my subject.
Yeah, the scuba diving.
I see you're wearing your scuba watch.
Yeah. I had. Is that a scuba watch too?
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah.
It's the you look like I got a fancier one. Mine is like an aqua lung, something like that. Mine's kind of like the intro. Yeah, mine's not that fancy. I need to know what kind that one is. The nice thing about these watches, I had an Apple Watch every night. Charge it up. I would go sometimes a week not knowing what time it is, you know? Because I'm sick and tired charging my watch, you know, and I would just forget, and then I'm like, ditch the Apple Watch. The Apple Watch was really nice because it tells you like when you put directions on it, it does this thing like boop, 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 boop. When you're like driving, it tells you like take a left, take a right or something like that. You can see all your directions. You can see your text messages and stuff like that. If they came up with that stuff, mind-boggling.
Yeah, well, I always said,
please.
Well, please don't put a phone attached, because my motto of the last 17 years of teaching scuba diving has been, I'll quit the day they make an underwater cell phone.
Oh my God.
If they put a cell phone in that watch and they make it underwater.
They probably will. That'll be like a reality in like 2 years. I guarantee you. No. From 2 years from now, they're going to be like, you'll get text messages on there. You'll get GPS directions on there.
That is the one place that I can disappear and justify when I reappear that I've been underwater and you can't get a hold of me.
You can't get a hold of me because I'm underwater. I wonder if the cell signal would reach underwader. Probably not.
No, I hope not.
I hope
someone will. Yeah, like you said, two years.
Somebody will
probably.
Somebody will be like, I need to get. They're doing business work.
I need to be able to get my email.
I need to get my email. Looks like I'm getting a very important text message.
Horrible idea. Yeah.
Underwater.
No comms. Need it.
How I got started with scuba diving is I was looking up. I'm like I need to get in because like I was doing a lot of snorkeling, and I'm like I need to be underwater longer. And then I reached out. I first went to the other place. I think it was River Rat, and then they're the ones that referred me to you basically because they didn't do scuba diving stuff. And then pretty much I just kind of showed up and I was like, okay, yeah, I need to get certified basically.
Well, if I remember correctly,
There's other story.
If I remember correctly, I believe you came in wanting to rent equipment.
Yes. And the truth will come out.
Yes, and it took a little bit of educating to.
Yeah, Paul was like, no. Yeah, I came in. I was like, I would like to rent some air and some dive equipment.
Right.
And then you were like, this guy is out of his freaking mind.
So we educated you on the need for proper certification.
Yes.
Which you got.
Yes.
Right? Which you went through with Rui. I remember he was in your class.
That was fun too. It was like a whole group
Where
of
did
people.
we do your open water at?
Blue Lake.
At Blue Lake.
Yeah,
down in Wendover?
Wendover itself.
Yeah.
Because we needed to go deep.
Sure.
But yeah, so the real story is
right.
I came over there and I was like, I'd like to just rent some of this scuba gear and thanks. And then he was like, no. You will not do that.
Yes. To those who out there who are not familiar with scuba diving, it does require a certification course to be able to rent or purchase diving gear or use scuba diving gear, hopefully.
I also then learned the dangers that can go wrong as well, too. So it was definitely a learning experience as well. And I think anybody obviously, and the thing is like, nobody can just show up to your shop and be like, I need this. There's an obvious like a stoppage on that.
Yeah, well, they can, but the first thing we ask for is their certification, right? That proof of certification. And, once someone gets certified to scuba dive, they're certified for life, and depending on their level of certification, they're certified around the world. Granted, if it's been a while, we always recommend doing a refresher course of sorts if it's been a while since they've been in the water. But no, people show up, all the time. They want to know where they can go diving at, and we'll show them the different spots, rent them out some gear. But again, like when you came in the first time, we got to make sure that you know what you're doing before you send you out with this equipment. And, and as you learned, there are inherent risks with scuba diving, and there can be very dangerous scenarios.
And this is not to discourage anybody for trying it out.
Sure, yeah, but those dangerous things are, they can happen because of the unknown, right? People that don't know what can happen when you're scuba diving are the ones that get hurt. That's why you go through the classes, and it's a as far as extreme sports are concerned, it's a relatively generally safe sport as long as you are following the rules, right? And you're maintaining your equipment and
you have like a backup regulator. You got a scuba buddy as well that can help you with if you just have problems.
Right. We like to call beginner training or open water training. We like to call it what if training, right? Well, what if, and we teach you how to respond to to all the what ifs out there. What if I were to run out of air? And my buddy's there. What if my buddy runs out of air, right? What if my tank becomes undetached? We have to take off
our whole entire rig off of us, put it on underwater.
Right. and we even have you learn skills that the chances of some of these things happening are so far removed, statistically, but we still train you on those what ifs because it is plausible that something could happen underwater. But once you're certified, though, you just follow the rules. You're going to have a nice, fun career. Of diving.
I've had a great time with it. I've primarily just been scuba diving around here, though. I need to kind of venture out, further out, go into, and you also offer. This leads us to the next thing. You offer trips.
We do lots of stuff at AWOL. I love doing the trips. Our next trip, we're going back to Palau in Micronesia, and it's arguably one of the largest World War II sites of the Pacific. So there's Japanese planes, American planes, and ships and whatnot that we'll be diving on over there.
Yeah, I've seen some of Andrew's. When you guys go, Andrew's
Yes.
usually going with
Yes.
you guys, and he always is like with his GoPro. It's like a
With
little
the
switch
flip
around,
stick,
the
yes.
flip stick.
Yeah.
He's like, check this out, check this out. I was like, damn it.
Yeah. Andrew and Jamie, we love those guys. They've been on all 5 of our trips so far since we started doing them.
And so for somebody that's like oh, this might be too expensive for us, you even like let me do like, okay, pay half now and pay when you start or so forth. So you
Yeah.
did that too. So I was like, sweet, because I'm like, I don't mind burning half right now and then half later. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and we
Even for the trips, I think you guys do something like that too.
Well,
Like,
for the trips, we pre-purchase the flights
Mm-hmm.
sometimes a year or more in advance, and so all of our trips, they include flights, they include breakfast, sometimes 3 meals a day, all the scuba diving, the taxes, all that stuff, and so we prepay a lot of that to these hotels and organizations, and there's a deposit when you sign up for it, but you're allowed to make payments, and
Yeah.
our next trip is next January, and we're almost full. We have 1 room left.
maybe that's calling my name.
So hey, man, Arnell, it's
Yeah, that way,
on there.
my scuba buddies or you guys, basically. I'm always like, I need a scuba buddy to kind of go. I go to these extremes where I'll go to Box Canyon where nobody hardly ever goes scuba diving because just the logistics getting there is like mind-boggling. You know what I mean?
Arnett, we might not get you back if you go on one of those trips with us. You might
I'm
end up
staying.
staying.
I'm
Yeah,
like, you know
there's-
what? I'm gonna stay here, guys.
and that's why people go with us on these trips, is because between my wife and I, really, she does absolutely everything. She sets up 100% everything on these trips. But then once we get to the airport, she hands me all the info, and then she's rightfully so on vacation herself. That's kind of when my job takes over, leading the dives out there. So a lot of people like to go with us on these trips because it's worry-free. Your exit taxes, your transportation, all of that stuff is all taken care of.
The logistics are
All
taken
the
care of.
logistics, completely taken care of. And then once we're there and we're scuba diving, you're diving with me as an instructor. We always hire local dive masters, tour guides down there, and generally there's going to be 2 or 3 other professional divers that are with our groups.
They know the good spots as well. Like,
Yeah,
this
they're
way.
going to know what you can touch, what you can't touch, what you.
How deep are you guys going on that one?
Oh, it depends on where we're going. There's a couple of shipwrecks out there that are sitting at 100 feet, a little bit over 100 feet deep. So. For those ones, but generally, even in crystal clear water, you lose a lot of your colors at depth, so most of them are going to be up above 60 feet in general.
Okay, yeah, nice.
But the real thing we're looking forward to in Palau is Jellyfish Lake.
Oh, yeah.
That's just a world-renowned spot.
Where there's thousands of jellyfish just
They
kind of
estimated
like
300,000
just
jellyfish everywhere.
and you would
yeah.
think you would get stung, but you just
they're
fly through it or
soft
something.
as silk. Yeah,
Huh?
yeah.
That should be interesting. Just
Yeah.
flying through jellyfish.
Yeah, I could talk about Palau for the whole afternoon, but we do at least 2 international dive trips a year to exotic locations. Next year will be Palau and Fiji, and then in 2024, I believe we're doing the Philippines and Bonaire, a little island next to Aruba. Really
Yeah,
nice
every
diving.
time I see you guys over there, I'm like, damn it, I coulda, woulda, shoulda. Maybe you should just sign me up, all. Just
We should. We'll just send you the bill.
Send me the bill, and I'll just be like, all right, I'll pay
Yeah,
this.
maybe we should.
I'm just like, sorry, so you said sign you up. Maybe I should just do that.
And we've got we have a 2-bedroom for Fiji in next October, and we're looking for a couple people to fill. It's kind of one of those family style ones, so it's less
Now,
expensive.
listen, I'll sleep on the ground. You know
Well,
what I
yeah,
mean? It doesn't
yeah.
matter to me.
I think if I had a suitcase big enough, I'd have,
Sneak me in there.
Yeah, I'd have a dozen people that in line ahead of you to.
Yeah, they're
to
like,
be
"Oh,
snuck
put
in
me
on
in
that.
the
Yeah.
case
Put me
if
in
you
the
can."
bag. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So those trips are awesome. So you guys offer those as well. So
Yeah.
again, it's just so crazy because like one, you can get scuba dive certified here. You're amazing with everything and so forth. So I say everybody. I always say to people, try scuba diving first with the Discover Scuba stuff.
I would
first.
agree. Yeah, I agree completely because it's not cheap to get scuba certified. You know, it's
Right.
$400 for the scuba class, and for a lot of people that's that's a healthy chunk of change, and so I would hate it for someone to come in and sign up and spend money on equipment, just to find that it's
They
not
hate it.
their,
Yeah.
yeah, it's not their cup of tea. So I'm with you. We recommend doing what we call the Discover Scuba Dive.
Mm-hmm.
In the summertime, we do it three times a month, June, July, and August. We'll have them set up at the Twin Falls City Pool, the Filer Pool, and then Banbury Hot Springs.
Yeah, that's the one I
out there
always
near-
show up to the Banbury one.
Banbury's, yeah, Banbury's is it's my favorite place. There's no chemicals in it, and they, being a hot spring, they really let us dial it in. And I am a wuss. I don't like being cold, and
Yeah.
so if I can warm it up, I'll do it. But this year we're hoping to talk with Jerome Reck at some point, and if we can, we'll put a fourth Discover Scuba Dive on the calendar each month. But basically what it is, it's $35. Anyone 10 and up can do it. We have a quick medical form for you to fill out. We meet you at the pool. We put you in all the scuba diving equipment. Show
Yeah, you have everything ready for them.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, here's all you set everything up for them too. I'm like, I gotta do that myself. And you're
Well, yeah.
they don't know how to
sign
do it.
up,
Yeah.
if you sign up for the class, if you're coming as a certified diver, it's on you, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
you're
too.
paying money to do work, and
Yeah.
we're going to make you put together your kit. But for the Discover Scuba Dive, we do it a lot of time for kids' parties and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is set up. We have professional divers and assistants that are in the water, and then we let you go down and enjoy being weightless, right?
Yeah.
And some people, it's very rare, but sometimes people get done with that experience. They just say it's not my thing.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time they come up and they want to know when they can sign up. Where do I sign up for this?
Yeah, it's like, how do I sign up?
Yeah.
When's the next class, and so forth. I didn't even do that. I'm like, oh, like you convinced me right there at the shop. You're like,
Yeah, we knew.
yeah, like, well, because I was doing a lot of.
You were going to do it anyways.
Yeah,
I think.
I was like researching. I was like, I'm gonna do this.
Yes, yeah.
So basically, do the discover. Do it the proper way. The discover first, ideally. But if you're like, oh, I really want to do that, and you don't even need it, then maybe just jump in. If you're willing to burn the money or so forth.
Yeah, for sure.
Because the thing is,
there's
like, you don't
plenty of
have to
water
buy
lovers.
the equipment right away.
Right.
Like you provide the wetsuit, the BCD, all of that. Your goal is to get the certification itself first. Once you get the certification, then you can either rent the stuff from you or buy the stuff yourself. So there's not really that huge of a financial commitment to it, is the way I see it.
Yeah, and the cost of the course is $400, and there is a little bit of equipment that you need to come to the table with, right? Your mask, snorkel fins.
Oh
or what we call
yeah,
your
that's
soft gear.
not. Yeah, that's not.
And that's the sort of thing that when you're traveling, it's best to have
Mm-hmm.
personalized mask, snorkel fins that are going to fit. All that other stuff we cover. The only other added expense that you might have is in the wintertime, when it's just too cold to comfortably teach you. If we were to teach you at Durkee's Lake in the winter, we'd have to be teaching you dry suit, full face mask, and ice diving all at the same time. And that's just not everybody's cup of tea. So
Yeah.
in the wintertime, we travel down close to Park City, Utah, about 3.5 hours from here. And we teach in a geothermal cave down there, right? The crater.
Yeah,
And,
that's the one I got certified at. It's like winter, and it's like we were like scuba diving in the winter.
yeah, scuba diving in your swim board or in your board shorts, right? Because
Yeah.
the water is 95, 96 is borderline too warm. to
And
be
they got
diving
like
in.
platforms there as well too. So we saw so many scuba divers. So everybody goes over there. It's a scuba diver.
It's a scuba mecca. It's where dive shops for 600 miles around go every weekend in the winter to go teach diving. But and it always surprises people when I tell them, but we teach almost 4 times as many scuba classes in the winter as we do in the summer. water.
Yeah, there's like something
You know?
to do almost. Like it's
Well,
kind of like,
and on top of that, people are traveling, right? That's the time that people are getting out of the cold and wind and going to beautiful places, and it is surprisingly easier because of the that warmer water at the crater to teach diving. So here locally, we love Durkee's Lake. We have underwater platforms there. We have hula hoops. We have a couple of sunken rowboats. We have cutouts of sharks and different stuff to see down there. Kind of like a scuba diver.
who put that there?
Playground.
Did you put that there?
I don't know if no.
You're like,
I don't.
somebody.
I don't know. I don't know who did that.
You're like, I scuba dived down there, and I was like, look at all this stuff,
and it's there. Yeah,
it's there.
It's there. Coming. I don't know where any of it came from, but we're glad it's there.
Yeah.
And we do use it. No, the platform itself. A gentleman came in not too long ago. You got to come by the shop and see it. He brought us the photos from the 80s, Polaroid pictures from the 80s of the group of guys from Intermountain Scuba in 81 or 82 that put that platform down there. And so I have them in the classroom.
I'm going to take a airplane there, Paul, and just put like a World War II airplane down there.
And I'm with you.
Let's put a plane.
No, we had a plane. At one point, we had a plane. Well, the gentleman, and I can't fault him at all, was able to find a buyer. He was going to donate it to us, a guy up in Boise, but he found a buyer, and I couldn't match what he wanted.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're looking for two things, Paul. We're looking for somebody that's going to donate us a plane, and somebody that's going to donate some land where we can put a zip line.
Yes. Okay.
Get on it, people.
We're not talking about it too much out there, and this might not be the best forum to bring it up, but there's a gentleman that is. He might be donating a large boat to us, and and so if it comes to pass that we can get our hands on this thing, we're going to go back to the city council and do a new presentation.
Yeah, I mean, like it's not like something like it would hurt the city because it's underwater, and you have to be scuba certified to even reach those depths itself,
right.
and the visibility is obviously not super great at Durkee's Lake, but once you're down there and nobody has kicked up some silt and stuff like that, you can still see it. So
and our biggest concerns, and the city council when we first presented that airplane years ago, I believe it was 8 years ago, they were all for it, and so I'm hoping that it'll be an easy process this time when it comes around. Our biggest issues and concerns, and what we want to make sure we get right, are the environmental concerns. We have to make sure with DEQ,
make sure that like it's not like doing anything to the water.
Yeah,
and stuff like that.
We take out anything that could potentially be hazardous or leach into the water.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a process and procedure to go ahead and make that happen.
Yeah,
and I think something super giant, even statues down there. Or something like that. Have you seen these like
really
cool statues?
Oh yeah.
Listen, I was like, I'm gonna buy some of these statues, and I'm just gonna take them, and like, who's gonna know?
It would, let us help you. Not with the let us know, or the no one's gonna know, but.
Yeah, we'll approach it properly.
It actually, we years ago we spoke with Idaho Fish and Game about this, and they told us that this would be a great thing for juvenile fish, an offshore congregation area. So if we get this boat, if it comes in indoor hands and we can do this, we're going to approach.
Because
fishing game again.
It almost kind of helps the fish too, because then they're all congregated
it gives them
around
an area,
there.
right? That's away from the shore, away from where most of the fishermen are, that sort of thing. For them to be.
You're gonna like
raised.
keep the population, keep the population going.
Yeah,
that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, like again, like I've been satisfied with the scuba diving around here, which is even though I go to some extremes to go get to them or so forth, but there is some good scuba diving here as well. So it's kind of like a way to jump in a little bit. So you get certified here, you can practice around here, and then once you're ready, then you can do those trips and so forth. So I think it's a great service that you guys are offering.
Have you been diving in Bear Lake yet?
No, just clear water. Typically, the springs and stuff like that. Those are like my favorite.
Lake,
I don't mind the
pretty,
cold.
Bear Lake's pretty clear. You can get 20, 30 foot viz. But we're doing a club dive down there on June 4th and 5th.
June 4th and 5th?
Yeah, June 4th and 5th. A whole group of divers are meeting up on the North Shore. And they're doing 2 days of diving down there at Bear Lake. I'll be there on the 5th for it.
I did some jet skiing over there. That was fun. You're like,
Oh yeah, yeah. When we're diving in places like that, we're gonna have multiple flags out.
Oh yeah,
marker.
A lot of people
buoys.
don't even understand what those floaty ball things is. It drives me crazy. We're scuba divers. We're underwater.
No, we're gonna have one of the pontoon boats up there at Bear Lake. You know, and we'll have the flags, so we'll make sure it's a safe area for diving. But we're doing Bear Lake club dive June 4th and 5th, and then the third weekend of July, we're going to be doing a lake cleanup at Payette Lake. If you haven't dove up there yet, it's an absolutely beautiful place to go diving. Crystal clear, freezing cold, but crystal clear water.
My problem is I don't I need scuba diver buddies that are crazy enough as me, where we're going to this lake that's gonna require us to hike or something, you know.
Yeah.
Those are the because you always need a scuba dive buddy to go ahead and come with you and so forth. Is there anything else, Paul? Do you think we need to talk about? We've talked about a lot of stuff here.
A lot of stuff, yeah.
We talked about again. We talked about all the services you guys offer at Centennial, the website. Again, the AWOL. You can just look up AWOL now. What's the most popular keyword people are searching?
Great question,
AWOL.
Right? AWOL Adventure Sports, or if they just type in AWOL Twin Falls, it usually comes up pretty.
And you guys are in a new spot now. So there used to be the old shop, and then there's a new shop now.
Yeah, we last year moved into a much larger shop.
It's so fancy. I went in there and I was like, wow, look at this. Yeah. It's like you guys got it so nice and cool in there. It's so big too.
Oh, thank you.
And then even the classroom area is all nice and cool. You guys upped the game on that too. It's so cool.
Well, thank you. Yeah, and so with that more space, we're able to bring in a lot more retail. For people that are wanting a nicer kayak.
Yeah, you guys sell kayaks too. I totally forgot about that too. So you guys got a bunch of kayaks that you guys sell over there. Every time I go over there, I'm like, all right, what am I gonna buy here today? I
like that mentality.
I always come in all right, I'm here, might as well buy something. So if you go to AWOL and you're in the shop, just be like, what am I gonna buy today?
I like that. Yeah, keep coming with that mentality.
I know.
We'll take it.
I got multiple fins now. I got I got all kinds of scuba dive gear. I'm at one point, people were because I was doing so much scuba diving, companies were sending me scuba diving gear stuff.
The wetsuit, right?
Wetsuits, shoes, gloves, underwater scooter. I still got to bring that so that way we can try that one out.
I didn't know about your underwater scooter.
I got an underwater scooter.
They
even sent me an underwater drone. They sent me an underwater drone.
This is for free?
Yeah, this thing is $2,000 or something.
Wow.
They're like, here, try it out, and you get to keep it if you review it. I'm like, you got it.
Wow.
So yeah, it's an underwater drone, and you just put it in the water, and then you can control it with a joystick, and it just sinks down, and you just zoop around, and then it's got a line on it as well too. So that way so that way you can just reel it in or so forth. So I've taken it to Box Canyon and. If I go to Banbury, I could just put the drone in and just follow you guys around there that way.
I'm going to be calling you next time on the
bring
DSD.
The drone,
yeah,
bring
I'd like
the
to
scooter.
See the drone.
I got a lot of underwater toys. You have the best one with the gun. You hook up a underwater bubble blower or shoots out
it's basically an underwater air pistol, right? And so it has its own large scuba tank, and when you fire it, it shoots out a
bubble
donut of air. Yeah, you're shooting a donut.
Yeah, so when you do the Discover Scuba, you go down there and you go pick it up and you're just shooting it at people, let it recharge and stuff like that.
That thing has helped a lot of people overcome any kind of issues, or if they're hesitant about scuba diving, right? And because it is a different environment, right? You're breathing underwater, and it can be off-putting for some. But you put an air pistol in their hands underwater, and they can shoot mom or dad, or shoot the person to the left or right of them. They all of a sudden forget that they're underwater. They just breathe normal, you're supposed to. You just breathe normal, and before they know it, they're scuba diving.
It's so crazy. When did they even invent that technology to be able to breathe like that? It's so it's
me.
you're
I believe
Well, they had those
Aqualung.
original the metal dome ones, and then it was
Right.
like a stick that they put and then they pump an air in there or
Right,
something like that.
Yeah, they had umbilicals that came down for surface fed air. So
Yes.
I believe self-contained scuba, right, having the tank on your back was created sometime in the early 50s.
Okay.
In France was where Aqualung and the first
They were
scuba
figuring
equipment
it
place
out.
came from. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, make sure get scuba certified. Get a watch. You can get a watch that can actually tell you the time, and you don't have to charge it up. It's just so nice.
And water temperature.
And water temperature and how deep you are. And
Yeah.
I like this thing because it logs your dives, because you got to log the dives and stuff like that. So it'll just be like puts it all up in the app itself. So we again talked about all the services at Centennial, the kayaking, the tours, the zip lining. We got the shop, website. Is there anything else that you guys are doing in the future that nobody knows? What are you hoping? Is there anything in the works? People don't know.
Ooh, no.
What should people be prepared? You got nothing?
No, yeah.
Oh, come on.
Yeah,
We've got some idea. We've already got two ideas. We got the giant zip line, and we've got statues or a giant World War II airplane.
Yeah, those are in the works. Those are kind of off-season things. So with Memorial Day weekend coming up, we have 12 weeks, of available time down there in the canyon. So right now everything is going to be focused on making sure it's running well, and we take advantage of the good weather if and when it shows up. And who knows, maybe sometime in September we'll be able to sit back and figure out what the next step is. Continue growing,
and you got some
progressing.
trips. See, we've got the life, Paul.
Yes,
You're
we do.
scuba diving.
Yes, we
We're having fun.
Well, I don't know, man. You getting all these free scuba toys and
Free
going up
scuba-
north for free?
Dude, you
It's,
just gotta make a
I don't
video.
know.
Yeah, you just gotta make a video about it, and then they'll send you. They'll
Then you
keep
get
sending
free
you
stuff.
free stuff itself. A lot. I do have a lot of underwater toys itself. Sometimes I feel like I've got too much, and then it's like I've become too comfortable now. I remember back in the day, I would just take like a snorkel and the mask, and then shorts, and I would be like, "That's it. I'm going in with that."
You can never have too much scuba gear.
You just become very, very comfortable is what
Yes.
becomes.
Yes.
It's like, I even did a video where I was like, I brought all my stuff and I dump it. I'm like, this is what happens when you become comfortable in the water itself. It's so much more enjoyable though, because it's like, you're not freezing, and even some of these spots that I go to, I'm sometimes encountered with like hundreds of fish, like little baby fish or so forth. And I don't think that many people like experience that. I feel like I've started like this trend where people are snorkeling.
Yeah,
There
you
are-
really have. People wanting to go to the springs. They
And
see those videos
snorkeling
and go
around.
snorkeling,
So like I start seeing people, I'm like, I think I started this trend.
You did. In the last few years, we've had scuba divers who call every summer now, starting a few years ago, who are asking, directions. How do we get to this? We saw them scuba diving Box Canyon, and then we're left explaining to them like, you're gonna have to hike your equipment down an embankment, and hike for 2 miles to go. Like, yes, it is beautiful, but that guy worked all day.
Yeah, like
to go scuba diving.
people
there.
don't see the struggles.
Right.
Like there's all these struggles all just cut in the edit. So it's like, hey, I'm here. And it's like, how did this guy get here?
Right. And so people see these and they want to, they think that they can drive right up to Blue Heart.
No.
And you have to explain to them, for you to go scuba diving at Blue Heart, you must kayak down there with your equipment over a mile, at a minimum, depending on where you launch, just to get there.
It's like there was only 2 ways. You can either like you go to Banbury, but you got to get them like pay them a portage basically,
Right.
Because they don't want just people like parking, taking spots and stuff like that.
Right.
or kayak from Ritter Island, which is brutal, you know. So it's got to be.
Well, you can also go from Thousand Springs as well, right? Which is downriver, but going from Thousand Springs, it's a 2 mile paddle upriver to get there. You know, so you're doubling your distance.
Yeah, it's.
But you know, people call all the time. They want to go scuba diving there, and we're left telling like, you can do it, but you are going to earn this
you're
one.
gonna earn
you're
that
gonna
one,
earn that dive.
or you need another boat, Paul, to portage people to over there as well. But it's already getting too crowded, though. That's the other
It's
thing
too
is,
crowded,
like,
yeah. And we tell divers if they are going to try it, don't nowhere near the weekend, right?
I don't. Yeah,
it
it's
can
like, it's
be
gonna be
too
a
dangerous.
Tuesday or
Right,
a Wednesday.
and even then, you have to be very careful because, as you said, boaters most of them don't necessarily recognize the scuba diving flag.
No.
And Blue Heart is such a small piece of water and so shallow that it can be dangerous. So I personally haven't been diving in Blue Heart in years, just because.
Yeah,
of
the
how many-
depth is like not that
8
super
feet,
deep. Like
yeah, 8
it's
or
like
9 feet.
you'll get 10
10,
max.
yeah.
10.
If you put your computer in the mud,
It's like-
you'll find 10.
You'll find 10,
yeah.
but it's cool seeing the spring water come
Yes.
over there.
Yeah, it is really unique.
I'd rather prefer Box Canyon itself, but again, maybe we can try to figure out the guy there, Dave Landrum, see if we can get us a key that'll get us over there or so
That'd be
forth.
really neat, yeah.
Because that way we can go ahead and do, because you do always at Durkee's Lake itself. Maybe you can make it some kind of service where people go to Box Canyon.
Oh, it'd be great. I was talking
And we
to
maybe
a
could help
gentleman
out
who
with,
got,
you know, like send some money towards their department or something like that. That way, you know, it's justifiable or so forth.
You
Like,
set it
you
up.
could-
We you know, even if we could just get in there one day out of the year, I think would be really.
Oh, I'm pretty
really
sure.
interesting.
Yeah, you probably would be down for that.
You know, we started because every Wednesday we do a free air Wednesday night dive, right? So certified divers like yourself come down, half off rentals, and we go diving at Durkee's. The last Wednesday of every month, we're going to be doing a new dive site at the Pillar Falls. And you haven't dove this yet, have you?
No, I was. See, I'm an adventure person, so I was like, I was at Soldier, and I was doing a
When
video.
I called you last time. For
Yeah,
it?
I was doing Soldier Mountain biking because I got into like this is me. I figure out something that I'm like, this is fun, and I just do it.
You go.
I go and do it, basically.
Well,
But-
you have to come down. It's the last Wednesday of every month. You need to come by the shop and sign up for it because it'll be a first come, first serve. But we're going to dedicate one of the pontoon boats to pick up divers at the dock at, I think it's 4:30
and you guys
5
go
p.m.
into like one of the pools itself.
One of
Do
the
not
pools,
swim
yeah.
over there.
Yeah. Pillar Falls can be very dangerous. There's a fatality up there, you know, every few years from someone not respecting the falls, you know, or getting into tough situations up there. But where we scuba dive is absolutely safe in one of the pools that we're in. And it's 64 feet deep. You can go all the way to the bottom and see
You
the
can almost
boulders
get
that
people
made it.
certified there. How deep is it?
We're going to. It's safe enough that we're going to start doing the advanced open water deep dive certification.
Yeah,
there.
because that's deep.
Yeah.
I was like, that's deep.
Yeah, anything over 60 feet.
That's deep.
Yeah.
Oh, I had no
3
idea.
atmospheres. Yeah.
Wow. Is it really dark in down there? Like how's
when you get to the bottom, it can be. But with the
You bring
river
a
being
flashlight?
so low, right? Or when it's low, you get all that sediment will go down to the bottom, kind of settle out. And
I'm
so
gonna
you
bring some
get
buckets,
surprisingly
maybe try to find
convinced.
some gold.
Yes, perfect. You can bring my bucket.
Yeah,
I'll
I'll be
let
getting-
you use the bucket, and then I just need the bucket back.
I'll be like getting. It's like, what's Darnell
yeah.
doing? He's getting buckets of gold.
Well, we're planning a dive. We have some tech divers, some cave divers coming up, and we're planning a dive at the base of Shoshone Falls. Yeah, it sounds like I
do
need
that.
to talk to Water Reclamation though about water flow. Sounds like we
Oh
might be getting
yeah,
some
you
water
gotta
here soon,
see
yeah.
when the water is hitting because
Yeah.
I mean, like, well, you'll probably be fine under water, you know, but like if you come up or something like that.
Yeah, I mean we don't want
And
to be
it'll probably
diving anywhere near when they're allowing water. We
you want
want to
this-
dive there when that water is as low as possible,
not even running at
or
all.
or off ideally, right?
That's probably the way to go. Well,
Yeah.
that's like a night dive then, because usually they turn off the water they turn off the water at Traditional Falls at 9:00
Yeah.
typically, and the waterfall's just
Yeah,
gone.
yeah. A lot of people don't know that.
Nobody
that the
knows that.
waterfalls, they turn off at night.
Yeah, I was when we were doing the show. I was like, okay, just to let everybody know, when 9:00 happens, this usually just stops,
Yeah.
and nobody's here. You know,
Right.
so the Idaho Power basically was like, we'll go ahead and give you some water because they control that left side of
Right.
it.
Right.
So that helped us out, at least do the show in the beginning itself.
That's cool.
Yeah,
But
so
yeah,
I definitely want to do those. Those sound like a very interesting, because that's like a once in a lifetime experience.
Well, we're gonna let the cave tech divers do it first.
Yeah.
And then you and I could go. and,
Yeah, I've seen that. Have you seen that movie where they're like doing that? Where those people were stuck and they had to do the whole dive. It was in another country or so forth. There's a movie about it.
Yeah, that was gripping, wasn't it? That was amazing.
I couldn't believe how far they were going.
Yeah.
I was like, these guys are so good at
that's a whole nother level of scuba.
like I was like this is like we're amateurs compared to those.
Right. That was humbling. Very, very
I was
humbling
like,
to watch
never would I try that. But I have seen some really cool dives at Iceland. You should go to Iceland.
Iceland. Well, outside of was it Reykjavik? That's the only place in the world you can touch two continental plates, right? At the same time, you can touch the European and the North American plate while scuba diving. So yes, that's definitely on the bucket list.
The Iceland, but the water's gonna be so cold though. Have you seen this video where they're like, NASA's got like this giant pool, and I don't know if you can ever get into that, but
no, I've seen pictures of it. They hire recreational divers to be assistants, right? And are you talking about the one in I think it's Houston?
Yeah, it's like a giant pool, and they have
Massive,
they put like the space shuttle in there. They're like simulating space basically,
right?
Because that's how it feels like when you dial it correctly, when you're like have full control of your BCD and you're just floating there.
Right.
It feels like you're. And if you want to kind of get like a floating sensation, dive magic. Have you ever done that?
No, you're talking about
float
magic.
Float magic.
Yeah, we were talking about scuba diving. No, I haven't tried it yet.
You got to try that.
Have you tried it?
Yeah, I have.
Man, I took a tour of it. Shawnee took us through there, and I have passes. I bought passes for my wife. I know, I bought passes for my wife and I, but I haven't done it yet. It sounds incredible, right? I mean, you're floating on a pool that just has a ton of salt in it.
Well, right? It tricks you. Like it tricks your brain thinking that like you're almost kind of like in space because it's pitch black and you're just floating, and it feels like because the salt water is like just holding you up pretty much, and then you're in water, so it's supporting your weight and stuff like that, and it feels like you're in space basically. You kind of almost forget that you're like sometimes you'll hit like a wall. And you're like, oh, yeah.
Wow, right.
I'm in this thing. But it's about an hour or so forth. But you feel really relaxed afterwards. Some people have like crazy experiences or so forth. That's what I heard from the Joe Rogan.
That would almost be my issue. And I didn't hear that on his episode. But my hesitancy, I guess, with doing that would be, I might go crazy. I just lose it.
It starts
being stuck with my thoughts.
Yeah, it gets you in a box and your thoughts,
and
basically.
That's it, right? Sensory deprivation.
Sensory deprivation. You got to try it out.
Yeah, we will for sure. Have you had Shawnee on Kyle?
She was supposed to. Yeah, I talked to Lisa with Second South Market. She did a podcast, and then she recommended I talk to her to have her come down. And so I emailed her. We just haven't logistically set up the time or so forth. So that'll probably be in the works as well too. I'm interested in talking to her about all of that. I saw an episode on YouTube called Rhett and Link. I don't know if you ever watched these guys. These guys are famous, and they did this thing where they went to one of those. And they had this crazy experience, and I was like, I got to do that. To convince me, because they're so funny and And it was so enjoyable. It was like, they loved it or something like that. So I was like, I got to give it a go.
No, I'm signed up to try it. You brought up Second Street Market. Isn't that a great place to have added onto Twin?
Yeah, it's
I love
like
going there.
all of the. Yeah, I had Lisa, and then I had Matt. Matt is the one that runs the Full Steam Espresso. Him and I used to work together at Jack in the Box.
No
That was
kidding.
my first job here. And him and I, we're working at Jack in the Box now. He's like a owner, and he's got a couple of shops and so forth. So it's
Great.
awesome.
Yeah, I hope it's working out for him. I hope it works out for everyone in that building. I love seeing it. Love being able to go in there. The atmosphere is great.
The atmosphere, like you get some Cloverleaf Creamery ice cream. Make sure you get strawberry.
Huckleberry.
Huckleberry.
The Huckleberry is
I'm
bar
just
none, man.
They gave me every one of their flavors.
Yeah.
And then I was trying to beat the sun, trying to eat them all at the same time. And then I was like, you know what? Strawberry. I'm just a strawberry guy.
But you got to try that Huckleberry.
And have you tried the brisket from that?
Yes.
That's like, they
No,
cook that.
It's all good. I love the brisket. Working downtown, I find myself running in there to get sushi for my wife at least once a week.
Really?
And it's all great. Everything. I love it. And,
pizza. They have like this dessert pizza. It's like what? It's pretty good too.
I haven't tried that, but they're calzones. They're big enough to feed two.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah. Well, I'll have to start doing food review Fridays. We'll get some food. I'm like,
I'll
okay.
come with you. I'll come back and say hi.
Yeah, you're like, all right, I'll eat this.
I'll look right into that camera and
this is delicious. Any other questions?
Yep, done.
All right, Paul. Well, I think we've covered everything.
I think so.
And I probably held you for a very long time here. So hopefully the cameras are still up and running. This has been an hour and a half podcast. Hopefully the camera's recorded. I have no idea.
You are almost like Joe Rogan.
Yeah. All right. Nice.
Thanks for having me, buddy. Yeah, I appreciate it.
All right. See you on the next one.
We'll see you, buddy.
All right.